Today, we're going to unpack 3 things that you can do right now to stop inconsistent sales results and close more deals for your business. Welcome to Trade Sales Made Simple, the show helping 7 to 8 figure trade, construction, and industry leaders finally end the stress of inconsistent sales by simplifying your sales systems so that you can close more deals and grow faster. I'm your host, Ben Wright, and over the last 15 years, I've helped hundreds of trade and sales leaders grow their businesses and generate over $200 million in additional revenue by simplifying their sales processes. Let's get started. Earlier this week in episode 252, we focused on the most important sales leadership skill that you can have to grow your trade business, which was consistency. And we're going to continue that theme along today, how as an individual salesperson, so if you are out there selling on your own, you have a team that's out there selling on their own, right? How as individuals, we can actually apply that consistency approach, right, to our sales skills and close more deals. So today we're going to go through 3 areas that I think will make a difference for you. They are by no means the only things you can do. But what I will say is they have been effective for hundreds and hundreds of salespeople that I've worked with, right? And were tested as recently as this week through some sales strategy workshops that I've been running with my customers. So these are tried and tested. They're things you may have heard before, but more importantly, they're 3 things that you are able to implement immediately into your business and move the dial on your performance. So let's start from easiest to hardest. Number 1, I call these are called Pomodoros. I certainly didn't make that time up, but Pomodoros are all about having short sprints where you have a heavy amount of focus on what you need to get done. And for me, the consistency here in great salespeople is that they have time every morning, it's almost always mornings, where they focus on 3 consistent things: new deals, deals that they need to quote, and existing deals. And by having this set up in their diary for every single morning, our Pomodoro typically goes for 25 minutes of heavy focus with 5 minutes of rest. So when I'm recording my podcast, I will run 3 podcasts across 25 minutes for the week, and then I'll have a 5-minute rest in terms of what I'm doing. I'm very consistent in being able to record those 3 podcasts every week because I have them in my diary and it's very consistent. Now, when it comes to you as a salesperson, having that time in your diary every day, and look, I'd encourage you to do not just 1, but probably 2 Pomodoros. So for example, 8:30 to 9, 9 till 9:30, or you might deal with your urgent issues if you're a business leader and do 10 till 10:30 and then 10:30 to 11, right? In those Pomodoros that you do every single day, or certainly you aim to do every single day and don't sweat it if you lose 1 day a week, is all about new leads, deals to quote, and then following up existing deals. We have whole episodes on this, and in fact, I'll do another one on it shortly because it's a great refresher. However, the key focus here is that to get really consistent in your sales results, you need to have really consistent behaviors, right? And the behaviors need to revolve around the most important facets of your sales role. Number 2 is all about quoting fast. The reason that quoting fast works is because we put ourselves, and we went through this on Monday in episode 251, right? But we're putting ourselves in a position where a customer is able to give us a fast yes. The most consistent salespeople I see are able to punch out quotes quickly, which means they can get to new leads quickly because they're not weighed down quoting, i.e. they don't lose a whole day a week where they just have to focus on quoting, or they're not behind and constantly scrambling. They quote fast. They often quote on the spot. They don't always quote on the spot, but they often do, right? But it allows them to get to more leads. It allows them to show their customers they're listening. And really importantly, is they don't have any memory loss, right? Those subtle leaks of memory. Talk about trying to fill up a bathtub, but it's impossible when you've got holes in it, right? They've got those holes that are in the bath. They don't appear because they're quoting when the information's fresh. It's right in front of them. Everyone knows what they need to do and they get those quotes done. So that's the second piece around getting really consistent with sales results. Number 1 is behaviors each and every day. Have a look at Pomodoros. I think they're fantastic. Number 2 is all about quoting really fast. And number 3 is never leaving a deal open. So what they do from a really consistent sales approach is they always get to a yes or a no. This does a couple of things. The first one is that it allows you to have great closure around how big your actual pipeline is. One of the levers or the metrics from the 3-box model that we run a lot within our business is understanding the size of your pipeline. Because if you know your close rate, the time it takes your pipeline to mature, and then the size of your pipeline, you should be able to reasonably accurately predict your future sales results. However, if that pipeline is not accurate, it becomes really difficult to do. So by having deals that move to a yes or a no, in an agreed period of time, there's no risk of having an open pipeline, right? And that open pipeline then giving us false readings on exactly how well we're going as a business or a person. So really important that you get a yes or a no on the deals. But the even more important piece here is that by getting a yes or a no on a deal, you actually become far more efficient in your sales role. Think about a time when you've had 30, 40, 50 sales deals open, right? Hopefully you've regularly got lots of deals you're quoting, but think about how much time you need to spend going through those deals and understanding where they're at. Remembering the last conversation you had with your customer by checking on your Excel spreadsheet or your messages or your CRM, right? Regardless of what you're using, it's the same approach, right? You spend a lot of time going back to understand those customers. There's more time calling those customers. There's more time chasing those customers. And at the end of the day, our time per deal, so the average time we spend per deal, really grows out versus those salespeople who try to get a really effective fast yes or a fast no. Right. And you can set yourself up to do that really effectively early in the sales process. That's not one for today. However, it is one that I want you to think about immediately that you can implement to give yourself more consistency in your sales results. i.e., so how do you get your customer to a quick yes or a no? And primarily, and we've covered this a lot across the podcast, is by making sure you're really clear on what that customer wants before you quote. So if I'm just to recap there, the three things that I see really consistent salespeople doing and living and breathing that then gives them the best sales results is around consistency. So I've mentioned Pomodoros today, but it's about making sure each and every day they are following up new leads, deals to quote, and then deals they need to follow up. The second thing they're doing is quoting fast so that they're building great relationships with their customers. They don't have any memory loss, right? They see ball, get ball, right? And the deal's done. So they quote fast. And the last piece is they don't leave deals open, which saves them a hell of a lot of time of reworking old deals, but it also keeps their mindset really focused on making sure they're getting a yes or a no and not letting a deal slip through. So there are three things I'd love you to take from today, and ideally pick one to implement today. Now, we've had a few things this week to try and implement into your business, but if you do nothing else other than go and put some time in your calendar, that will take you a week or two to get used to, but hopefully within a month, you are really fiercely protecting. If you just do simply that, then I'd expect to see some improvement in your sales numbers because you are systemized and consistent in what you're doing. The second piece is to quote fast. And the third piece is make sure you get to a fast yes or a no. Because at the end of the day, I want to make sure that you don't spend too many hours wasting time on sales quotes that you keep losing, right? So those three things we've went through today are going to help you. But at the end of the day, if you're not prepared to change something now, then you'll keep getting these same stressful results over and over again, which will leave you stuck working really long hours and not have enough money in the bank to show for it. So I've got a free quoting quiz. You'll pinpoint exactly why you're not winning more jobs and what you need to do to really quickly grow your sales. It's a free quiz link in the show notes. Get started, please. It takes you just under a minute, right? Really quick and easy, and I review every one myself. Okay, that's it for today. Please keep thinking about how you can be 1% better each and every day because it will make all the difference. That's it. Bye for now.